Hey, what's up, everybody? So my name is Calanog, and I teach physics and astronomy at San Diego Miramar College. Today, I'll be showing you how you can use Socrative to interact and engage more with your students. So what is Socrative? Well, when it all comes down to it, Socrative is a web-based quizzing platform that is specifically optimized for live or synchronous assessments. You might have heard of other applications that already do something similar. So for example, whenever you're using that polling option when you're in your Zoom meeting, or if you've ever heard of Kahoot, Kahoot basically gamifies the whole assessment process. I personally like to use Socrative because it's simple, straightforward, very accessible, and it's very versatile in the types of questions you can ask your students. So to give you a brief overview, what we'll be talking about in this video is I'll be showing you how I use Socrative in my own course, and hopefully that'll allow you to brainstorm in how you can utilize Socrative in your own courses as well. So just to get started here, we have to go to Socrative.com, and once you type that into your web browser, you'll be redirected to this page, and then from there you can log in. And so in order to access Socrative, you have to make an account as the educator. Making an account is completely free, and there is a professional version called Socrative Pro that is subscription-based payments, but you don't have to use it. Personally, I've used it for 4 years, and I haven't felt the need to actually upgrade my account to the paid version. So let's go ahead and log in here. So right off the bat, Socrative asks if you're a student or a teacher. And so later we'll actually switch screens here to see what the students are actually seeing from their perspective. And so let's go to teacher. So a new tab opens up. I already have my information typed in there. So let's sign in. And what Socrative will automatically do is it will place you in the screen. This is called the launch menu. And the launch menu essentially is where you are going to perform an action to assign for your students. So for the sake of brevity, there's a lot of features here you can explore, but I'll be going over quizzes and then the quick questions section, okay? So how I like to use Socrative in my own class is I like to use it to grade participation, which also doubles up as taking attendance in class. Okay, so in order to launch a quiz, let's just click quiz here. And then I can just ask any quiz I want that I've already made in advance. And so let's just ask this quiz. It's about mirrors. And then I can press next. I go to instant feedback here. And then from there, you have some options that you can turn on or off. So for me, for example, I like to turn off question feedback because it minimizes the amount of cheating that's being done. So let's press start. Okay. And so when you press start, Socrative automatically redirects you to a different section of its website. So you went from launch to results. And whenever you're seeing this blinking Wi-Fi looking like symbol, that basically means an activity is actually ongoing. And right now you're essentially just waiting for your students to do something. Okay, so now let's switch over to the student side and let's see what they're seeing. Okay, so let's go back to that same home page. Let's log in, go to student login. And this is really what makes Socrative very accessible because the students don't even have to make an account. All they have to do is they have to put in a room name and then input their name. And so the room name is something that the teacher actually provides the students. So the room name, I'll go back to my instructor screen. If you are using the free account, then you're only allowed one free room. Ideally, if you're teaching multiple courses in a perfect world, you'd have a separate room name for each class. However, this is the free version, so you're stuck with what you got. So this is my room name, Astrophysics Spring 20. So yeah, I have to update that. So anyway, let's just type that in, Astrophysics Spring 20. I think that's right. Let's just ask to join. Okay, so this is where you enter your name. I recommend just kind of standardizing it for your whole class. Like for example, first name followed by your last name or the other way around. So let's just do last name followed by your first name. Okay, and so my first question for them is basically entering the daily password. This is usually showed up presented as a slide in class or through a Zoom session where it's just a random assortment of letters and numbers just to prove that they're actually present while you're conducting the course. So I'll just put in some random text here, submit answer, and then this is my first question. I'll just pick, random number of choices because this is a select all that apply question or a multiple answer type of question. So let's submit that. And then here's my next question. Here's another question that's a multiple answer type of question. I'm just going to submit that as well. And then my last question is typically structured as a muddiest point type of question where the students are now going to provide me feedback about any points of confusion that they saw in the lecture. So I'll just say nothing, no questions. I understood everything. Okay, which is never really the case, right? So let's submit the answer. And let's now go back to the instructor screen. So the instructor screen, let's go back to the results page here. And so now you can see an overview of the students who are participating in this assignment or in this activity. And so here you can choose to see like a big picture type of perspective, or what you can do is you can go question per question and assess or address each one. So for example, if I click on that one icon in the previous page, then it'll take you to the first question and you'll see basically the list of the students and the responses for that specific question. So what I would like to do here is, if I go back to the results table, is to show question 4 to the whole class. Just because it's giving me some points of discussion that I can actually address if there are any points of confusion. So if I click on show names here, you have the option of actually showing students' names and their associated question. But for me, I like to make the class a safe space, and students are way more comfortable in asking a question if you actually make it more anonymous. So it is semi-anonymous on that end, that you alone can actually set that if you want. Okay, so that's the results table essentially. And let me go back to the results table here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click finish. So when I click finish, it's going to end that activity. And so once you click that finish button, the students are basically going to just wait for the next activity to begin. So ideally, you'd like for them to actually be on this app the whole time. And then from here, as an instructor, if you want, you have the option of downloading the results as an Excel file or individual student PDFs or a question-specific PDF. There's multiple options that you can actually keep records here, okay? But yeah, okay. So how do you actually go about making those quizzes in advance? You go onto the quizzes tab over here, and then you can see here that it shows you all the list or all the quizzes that I've already made in advance for my students, and they're all the same format, usually some sort of daily password, 2 questions, and then some sort of muddiest point kind of question. And so in order to do that, just press add to quiz. And this is going to be a very, very similar format as other quizzing platforms like Google Forms or quiz forms on Canvas, where you can just choose to add a question. So I can put multiple choice, for example, and then you can put in the information that you want, the answers. And then you can also have multiple answers to that one multiple choice question, which is actually what I had beforehand. And then you can add another question if you'd like a short answer. Oops, I guess I have to actually put in an answer here, but still, you kind of get the idea, okay? Once you're done, press save and exit, but this isn't really a real quiz, so I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, that's essentially how you make those quizzes in advance, and once you do, it'll show up under your quizzes option. Okay, so now let's go back to the launch window. And now let's go over the quick question section. So let's say that you actually don't have any quizzes prepared in advance. You're more of an on-the-fly kind of instructor where you want to just throw out a question to your students and then get instant feedback from them. So I recommend actually using this. So for example, let's say that you actually had a discussion question that you wanted to throw at your students. Okay, so what you can do is you can click just short answer right here, and then again you have the option of limiting the number of responses or requiring students' names. Just keep those unchecked. For the sake of this video, I'll just press start. And normally what you would say is, the discussion question orally, and then let's go back to the student view. And so now I have my short answer activity popping up on the student's computer. So I'll just be like, hello there. Okay, if I type hello there and submit that, then let's go back to the other window, and that actually shows up there, okay? And again, you have the option of showing names. And again, because the student didn't really log in, then they'll just be anonymous. Or I think if it's in the quick question menu, then it'll show up as some sort of random set of like letters and numbers. So I'm gonna finish that. And let's say now I wanna throw out a multiple choice question. Again, you can just go multiple choice, and you would kind of say the multiple choice question, or you would have it up on a slide somewhere, maybe on Zoom. And then now it'll show up here, press A for the student. So now the student's done. Let's go back to the instructor's perspective, and now you can see it there. And from there, you can see, the proportions or the fractions of the students that are voting for each choice here. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward, and you can use it either if you're the person who likes to plan ahead of time what they're going to assign their students, or more for like your on-the-fly teaching. Okay, so that summarizes the features of Socrative that I like to use, and hopefully you guys will consider using it as well. Thanks for watching.